Hi, welcome to our latest episode. This week I want to kind of discuss really the process that businesses should be looking at around attracting and retaining staff. A lot of businesses at the moment are obviously planning ahead for 2018, ourselves included, and we're just looking at a few kind of plans for next year, what's worked well this year, what we need to kind of work on next year. And I know a lot of our clients are doing the same. So we're kind of working pretty closely with some of them around that in terms of their kind of people and HR strategies for next year. But one of the kind of common things that we're seeing across all sectors at the moment is the difficulty in attracting staff. Recruitment seems to be a really big challenge for businesses, and we're working with a lot of our clients around recruitment across various sectors, whether it's IT, care, retail, hospitality, etc. And regardless of the sector, they're all finding it a real challenge trying to attract and also retain good people. So one of the things as a business owner, in terms of your plans for next year, you need to absolutely be looking at the way in which you attract and retain your people. So, what I want to kind of discuss in this episode is just some, kind of a little bit of advice around what you could be doing in your business to make that journey a little bit easier for you in terms of the attraction and the retention piece. But a lot of research into the topic around kind of staff retention and I guess attraction is around leadership and direction in your business. Now, a lot of businesses, a lot of our clients are SME businesses, so being a leader might not be something that comes naturally to you as the business owner. You might have been very good technically, or you set up a business because of your trade or your profession, etc. And then you've kind of grown a team, and that kind of leadership and direction isn't something that comes naturally to you. So I totally understand that, but there's things that you could be doing in your business, and that's making sure that you're appointing people with these skills to enable them to kind of lead and manage your teams effectively, because ultimately people want good leadership and direction when they come to work. So leadership and direction means different things to different people. So that's why it's important that you try and surround yourself and your business with the people that have got the kind of right skills to do that. It's also worthwhile you just looking at different kind of situations. So kind of situational leadership is a topic that I'm pretty close to, and I've just actually read a book which is a really short book called Leadership and the 1 Minute Manager. Now it's a really easy read. As a business owner or a manager, you can kind of download or buy a copy from Amazon. So you can either do an audio or buy the kind of hardback book, which is something I prefer to do, and I can take kind of little notes and refer back to that at a later time. But it's a really easy read, and it's all about kind of situation leadership. And if as a business owner, that's something that you should be looking at. And if you take a chance to read that, then hopefully that will give you an insight into things that you could be doing in your business. Other things that people want is all around work-life balance, and there was a good article in the Metro recently around that, where a number of people had kind of said that they were struggling with kind of anxiety, depression, and stress, a lot of mental health issues, and a lot of that is down to a kind of poor work-life balance. So things like kind of lack of sleep, working too many hours, taking your work home with you, poor eating habits, lack of exercise. We've kind of just moved into the kind of darker nights now as well. So all of that has an impact on people. So if there is kind of poor work-life balance, then that is going to be a factor that may encourage some of your staff to kind of look for another job and move on, but also makes it really difficult for you to attract people. So we're finding that more and more around recruitment strategies. People are looking for a better kind of work-life balance, flexible working, so that could be opportunities to work from home if you can kind of offer that, or it might just be a kind of change in kind of working hours. So rather than the traditional Monday to Friday 9 till 5:30, is there opportunities for people to start a little bit earlier and finish earlier, or start later and finish later and do various things over lunch. So all of that is really important in terms of trying to kind of grow your business and also retain the people that you need to retain. Now, if that's not in place, then things, what will happen is some of your staff will become quite disengaged. They can be quite negative, and what then happens, and I've seen this kind of firsthand. I'm quite close with some clients recently, where that then rubs off on other colleagues in the business. So people who normally may have been fairly engaged and providing a good quality of work, they seem to then change a little bit, and because that leadership and direction's not been there, it's easier for them then just to follow these negative people that are in your business. So it's important to try and create a positive culture with that kind of work-life balance in your business. So I highly recommend that's something that you definitely kind of look to do. There's a good article as well which I've kind of published on the blog, which actually kind of lists the top 20 firms in the UK around what makes them a great place to work, and I was recently part of the Business Insider judging awards in Glasgow, where I was kind of helping kind of judge some of the categories there around great places to work in Scotland, and there were some really good ideas and really good initiatives that a lot of businesses are doing. So as I said, a lot of that is around that kind of flexible working, but is there other things you could be doing? So I mentioned about lack of exercise, so could you offer discounted gym memberships? Could you offer various courses in the business, so things like time management courses or other courses that could perhaps promote health and well-being? So that's all things that could really help attract and retain good people in your business. Another thing that people are looking for is training or learning and development. Now again, when times are hard, one of the first things that goes is the kind of training budget. So people then feel a bit I guess disengaged or negative because they feel they're not being invested in. But training and development doesn't necessarily have to cost a lot of money. One of the things that we do in our business, and I get we're a small team, but I encourage the team to spend at least 2 hours per month on what we class as a kind of learning activity, and that could be a webinar, it could be listening to a podcast, it could be reading a book. So I've mentioned this book, so personal development is really important to me. So for me to kind of generate ideas in my business, I need to kind of develop myself. So I do that through podcasts, reading books, attending conferences when I can, and watching things on LinkedIn. So there's some good TED Talks, for example. YouTube's available. So there's a lot of kind of good business content out there, and that's things that you could actually be doing in your own business, because obviously that self-development is whilst I said it's important to me, it's probably important to a lot of your staff as well. So if there's different things that you could be doing to encourage them to develop themselves, that all adds value to your business. They continue to develop their skills, generate ideas themselves, and all of that impacts on your customer in a positive way, and impacts on your business in a positive way. So these are things that you could be doing that doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You've then obviously got specific courses and workshops that you could be doing. So we run a number of workshops for our clients and for non-clients of the HR booth, and that's on various people management subjects. So we generally kind of run them once a month, but there's other companies out there that do something similar. Your local chambers of commerce, for example, may have some training events, Business Gateway, various things like that. So it's worth having a look just to see what's going on locally in your area, and look at kind of cost-effective training and development events that your staff will enjoy and get the benefit from. So these are some things that can hopefully help you in your business around the learning and development piece, and keeping your people engaged. And it's a question that comes up quite a bit from candidates. They kind of ask what the career progression's like, what training opportunities are in place. So if that's something that you can actually promote on your website and through your recruitment process, then absolutely it's something that you should be doing, and it kind of gives you a competitive advantage over some of your competitors who might be trying to attract the same talent to come and work for them. So what separates you from them, and why should people come and work for you, and more importantly, why should people stay with your business? And the last kind of point I want to make on a good practice around staff retention and attraction is perhaps around your kind of corporate social responsibilities. So this isn't just kind of paying lip service to something you need to do as part of a tender, but you might have something that's got a real kind of community focus, or a real focus in your industry, and it's something that you can involve your people in, but it's something that you can celebrate some local PR. So that could be working within your community. You might be getting involved with local schools, colleges, developing young workforce, or you might be giving something back to the community in terms of old folk homes, for example, people that are in care. You might have a team of people going out and giving up some of their time to engage with people, or if there's jobs being done around kind of painting and decorating, various things like that you could be getting the team involved. So it encourages team building, gets people that to work with people outside a kind of work context, but you're giving something back to your local community. Again, I've seen a lot of big businesses who do things like that, and they might pick a kind of big national charity to be involved with, and that's great. But there's also a lot of stuff going on locally that you might want to kind of support your own local community. So look at a charity that might be close to your employees' hearts, for example. So your people about to be in touch with personal tragedies and circumstances that are really, really difficult. So, rather than maybe picking a national charity that people don't really identify with, pick something that that is close to your kind of people's hearts, and that might be something that you do annually, so it's not always the same thing, but you get that buy-in from your people because they can relate to it because one of their colleagues has been supported through that charity or through that cause or whatever it may be. So these are things that you can definitely be involved with, and again, shout about that on your website or in your recruitment site. All the things that are positive around. It's not just coming in and doing your work. You're kind of offering something a little bit more because people want to kind of be part of that kind of thing these days. So it's having an understanding of what your people want and what you can do to really enhance that employee engagement piece. So hopefully you've found that fairly useful today. As I say, we're kind of approaching year end, and you'll be kind of making some plans for next year. And really important. I would suggest that whilst you'll be making plans around sales and marketing and growing your business, it's important to make sure that you have some kind of people agenda there as well, and what you're doing around your kind of HR strategies for next year. So if you've not got something in place around that, then absolutely you should be looking at that. But if you need any support around that, then feel free to get in touch. I'll put some links on the website just in relation to some of the other articles that have been published on these subjects that have got some kind of stats to kind of back up what I'm saying today, and you might find some of that useful and get some good ideas for your business.